This new weapon is considered a major step forward in U.S. weapons development technology. The outstanding advantage of laser weapons is that they operate on electricity, so the cost is significantly reduced, less than $1 per shot, compared to hundreds of thousands of USD to fire a missile. The U.S. Navy predicts that in the future, laser weapons will be used more and more thanks to the speed of light and high accuracy. Watch this entire video to discover how powerful this weapon is. On May 20th, the U.S. Navy officially accepted the USS Zumwalt destroyer, also known as DDG-1000, which is expected to put this super warship at the head of the next-generation naval fleet of the U.S. military. However, many experts are questioning the combat capabilities of the USS Zumwalt, especially the difference between the cost of building the ship and its actual quality. The first time such questions were raised was in 2008, when the USS Zumwalt was still under construction. Sputnik quoted Admiral Gary Ruffin, the U.S. Chief of Naval Operations, as saying that the destroyer would become useless due to its poor seagoing capabilities, lack of security capabilities, and lack of magnetic and laser gun systems. According to Mr. Ruffin, the sharp nose of the DDG-1000 is designed to cut waves, making the destroyer look like a frigate from the American Civil War, which is famous for its instability. Laser systems and magnetic guns were originally planned to be deployed on the USS Zumwalt, but the U.S. military decided to temporarily suspend the installation of these technologies during the ship's construction. Instead, the USS Zumwalt is equipped with conventional missile and gun systems. The RIM-162 Sea Sparrow missile, which is being put on the Zumwalt, has a range of 50 kilometers and an interception range of 15 kilometers. Experts say that this type of missile will not be capable of successfully performing the combined air defense function of the Zumwalt. In addition, the warship, which is considered the most modern in the world, is not equipped with anti-ship missiles, which are considered an indispensable component of this type of destroyer. The Zumwalt destroyer can only shoot back at enemy ships with a 155mm gun, which is likely to be powerful but not fast. The gun can fire at a frequency of 10 times a minute. According to Russian military commentator Viktor Baranets, who is also a retired colonel, Viktor Baranets, the advertisement about the unique stealth ability of the USS Zumwalt, which makes it almost impossible for the enemy to detect, is also not credible. Mr. Baranets believes that such a giant destroyer will not be able to be invisible to today's advanced space and air reconnaissance systems. However, some experts still acknowledge the potential and outstanding stature of the USS Zumwalt destroyer. There is no doubt that this destroyer is a sign of the technological development of the U.S. military, said Viktor Latovkin, a Russian defense observer. Mr. Latovkin believes that Russia will benefit from the U.S. destroyer initiative because Moscow can learn from Washington's experience, overcome shortcomings, and from there create new military equipment of its own. So why did the U.S. choose this warship to install laser equipment? To understand that clearly, it is necessary to know that the USS Zumwalt began construction in February 2009, was commissioned on October 15, 2016, and was officially handed over to the Navy on April 24, 2020. The ship joined the U.S. Pacific Fleet and participated in sea trials and fleet exercises. In August 2022, DDG-1000 began its first operational deployment, and it continues to test before installing a functional system called CPS in October 2023. Like the Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, the DDG-1000 will be a multi-mission ship capable of providing deterrence and forward presence, and will be an integral part of joint and combined expeditionary forces. But unlike today's destroyers, the DDG-1000's primary mission will be to provide offensive support to ground forces. In fact, one of its most important requirements came not from the Navy, but from the Marine Corps, which in 2002 asked the Navy for a 24/7, all-weather, long-range missile capability to support Marine Corps amphibious operations. That means the DDG-1000 will need to operate effectively in shallow coastal waters, not in fast, hit-and-run missions, but in engagements that can last days or weeks. A sustained presence in coastal areas is one of the Zumwalt-class destroyer's most important design requirements. Now let's look at some of the other requirements for the ship, as outlined by Navy planners. The DDG-1000 could face attacks from cruise missiles and small boats. It would obviously need to be able to defend itself effectively against these threats, as well as those from submarines and surface mines. It would also need to have systems in place to minimize the damage caused by missile attacks. It may seem impossible to make a 600-foot-long ship invisible to the enemy, but that is one of the most important requirements for the DDG-1000. That means the ship would need to reduce engine noise and the amount of electromagnetic energy it reflects back to enemy detectors. From the start, Navy planners envisioned the DDG-1000 as an all-electric ship to meet growing energy demands. About 80 megawatts of electricity, nearly 10 times the capacity available on today's Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, will power all of the ship's major systems, including its gun turrets. The electric motors designed to power the propellers will be among the most advanced in the world, capable of maintaining a top speed of 30 knots. In addition to the need for endurance, stealth, and running solely on electric power, the Zumwalt-class destroyers have other requirements that make them among the most dangerous and feared destroyers on the planet. An open information technology architecture, which makes it easier to use existing software and promotes interoperability. Contractors helping the Navy develop the ship's various systems will also work within this single IT framework to ensure that all hardware and software are fully integrated. While it is one of the most efficient ships on the market, it will also be very expensive to build. Many of its critical systems will be fully automated, requiring fewer crew members to maintain operations. Its fuel-efficient power systems will also reduce fuel costs and offer significant energy savings. In many ways, the Zumwalt-class destroyers will be the de facto prototype for all ships built as part of the U.S. Navy's 21st century fleet. Its advanced technologies will be tested and proven in real-world scenarios and then integrated into ships such as the DD Cruiser and Littoral Combat Ship, which are being planned for the near future. It is also hoped that the DDG-1000 will influence warship design for the rest of this century, creating new, more advanced capabilities. To ensure that the requirements outlined in the previous two sections are met, the DDG-1000 will feature many innovations never before seen on a warship. The low, angular deck gives the Zumwalt-class destroyer a sleek, modern appearance, unlike any warship before it. This distinctive appearance is only further enhanced by the DDG-1000's hull, which slopes inward from above the waterline. Known as a tumble-home hull, this feature allows the ship to glide smoothly through the waves, optimizing speed and maneuverability while minimizing acoustic and infrared signatures. The DDG-1000's firepower will be formidable. The centerpiece of the ship's weapons system is the Advanced Gun System, or AGS, which is a pair of 155mm guns capable of firing long-range land attack projectiles. An LRAP is a GPS-guided munition that can deliver a precision strike at targets up to 100 miles away. 600 LRAPs can be fired from Zumwalt-class destroyers in 30 minutes, giving the ship a true rapid-fire capability that far exceeds that provided by the 12 155mm mortars on the Arleigh Burke-class destroyers. In addition to the AGS, the DDG-1000 has 80 vertical missile launchers staggered around the ship's perimeter. Each launcher has a modular electronics architecture, making it easy to deploy both current and future missiles for land attack, anti-ship, anti-submarine, and air defense. Each system is also self-contained and fully armored to limit and isolate damage in combat. Finally, two 57mm close-in guns fire 220 rounds per minute from the bow. Both guns fold down and are hidden for stealth. There were originally plans to equip the ship with an electromagnetic railgun, a weapon that uses an electrically powered magnetic field to accelerate a projectile to 52,493 feet per second. However, in 2021, the U.S. Navy's funding for the development of the railgun was terminated, and there are no plans to continue the project. Instead, in 2023, the gun mounts will be removed and replaced with hypersonic missiles. This is expected to be completed by 2025 and will equip the Zumwalt with a hull called the Common Hypersonic Glide Body, which is being developed for the Army, Air Force, and Navy. Another major step forward is the installation of a sonar system. The two types of sonar systems are brought together in a single solution called the Integrated Undersea Warfare System. High-frequency sonar can detect underwater minefields, while medium-frequency sonar can sniff out submarines and torpedoes. The dual-band sonar array is located at the bow of the ship in an onion-shaped compartment that provides complete 360-degree coverage of the underwater environment. Most warships today use a traditional mechanical drive propulsion system with two separate sets of turbines, one for propulsion, the other for generating electricity for use on the ship. The downside of this type of propulsion system is the inability to direct power to where it is most needed on the ship. For example, weapons cannot borrow power from the propellers during combat. The Zumwalt-class destroyers will overcome this problem with the Integrated Power System, or IPS. The U.S. plans to test a stealth destroyer of the Zumwalt class to carry 12 hypersonic missiles in 2025. Vice Admiral Johnny Wolf, head of the U.S. Navy's Strategic Weapons Programs, said at a conference on November 2nd that the force has decided to equip hypersonic missiles for Zumwalt-class warships from 2025. The USS Zumwalt, the first ship of the same class of warships, will begin the modernization process from the end of next year. Ingalls Shipbuilding will remove 255mm gun mounts in front of the superstructure and replace them with 4 vertical launch tubes. Each tube can hold 3 joint hypersonic glide vehicles, allowing the USS Zumwalt to carry a total of 12 hypersonic missiles. The USS Michael Monsoor, the second ship in the Zumwalt class, will also be equipped with the same number of missiles. It is unclear whether the last ship, the USS Lyndon B. Johnson, will be equipped with the CHGB missile during testing. Hypersonic weapons have a speed of about 6,000 to 12,000 kilometers per hour, have a higher range and maneuverability than ballistic missiles, helping them penetrate enemy missile defenses. High speed, maneuverability, and low flight path in the atmosphere make hypersonic weapons much more difficult to track and intercept than traditional ballistic missiles, posing a great challenge to all modern air defense networks. CHGB is a joint project of the U.S. Navy and Army, including warheads, guidance systems, and heat shields, expected to serve as the foundation for the Pentagon's hypersonic strike missile. All U.S. military branches are developing hypersonic weapons suitable for their specific operations. The U.S. admits that its hypersonic weapons development program is lagging behind rivals such as Russia and China. Russia put the Avangard hypersonic weapon system into service at the end of 2019, while the Kinzhal supermissile reached combat readiness in 2018. The Zircon hypersonic missile testing process for surface ships has been completed, and Russia could put this weapon into service this year. The Zumwalt-class stealth destroyer is considered one of the most expensive military projects in U.S. history, but has disappointed with a series of design flaws, cost overruns, and delays. The U.S. Navy originally intended to use the Zumwalt class to attack coastal targets with the 155mm advanced gun system, the largest gun built and equipped by the U.S. for warships since World War II. However, the long-range guided shells for the AGS system are too expensive, at nearly $1 million USD round, causing the U.S. Navy to abandon the AGS cannon and find an alternative weapon. The U.S. Navy announced at the end of 2021 that it would convert the Zumwalt-class destroyers to be equipped with hypersonic missiles. With advanced laser technology and diverse combat capabilities, this warship represents an important step forward in the modernization of the U.S. Navy. Although it costs up to $500 million USD, this is a significant investment in national security and maintaining the U.S. position at sea in the future. If you find this video interesting and want to learn more about modern military technology, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss the latest content. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and leave a comment about your opinion. Thanks for watching.